Misty is back in the show, the video games have entered a new era, World Champion Ash just took a fat L, rumblings of the next Paldean adventure are on the way, Brock wanted a girlfriend, but maybe not that kind of girlfriend, everything is about to be turned on its head, and there is no better time than now to be a Pokemon fan. As 2022 was an unbelievable year, and 2023 is also going to be something special. So let's talk about the Pokefeast of the past, the present, and the future. Hey everyone, it's Charles. How are you today? Before we jump into today's chat, happy belated New Year. I hope your 2023 is off to a great start. And yes, we are back from the longest break I've ever taken since starting YouTube back in 2017. And I'm very thankful for all the messages wondering what's been going on. It really does mean a lot. And since everyone has been asking, basically we had illness and death in the family and a whole lot of other wacky things that just hit all at once. So while I've been thinking about you all, I just didn't have any time to get videos out this month. So I'm sorry for that, but everything is settled now. We are back. And we are ready to tackle yet another year of Pokemon content. So thanks for sticking around during the halftime on the channel here, and I look forward to all the fun we're going to have this year. Indeed, right now is an incredible time to be a Pokemon fan, as just when we thought 2022 pulled out all the stops, we have bold new adventures coming down the pipeline in 2023. And I really wanted to talk about the first two episodes of the brand new Aim to be a Pokemon Master miniseries that kicked off this year, because Latias and Superpowered Misty, as well as what's coming up for the Pokemon anime and the Pokemon video games later in the year, as the big Paldean power plays are about to drop. That said, I also want to pay tribute to the greatness that was 2022 before we start to dig into the here, the now, and the beyond. So the plan today is to 1. Break down the highlights of the Pokemon insanity on all fronts that was 2022, and 2. Properly kick off 2023 with a chat about what is to come for fans of the Pokemon anime and games, as well as a discussion of the first 2 Aim to be a Pokemon Master anime episodes and what is next for Ash and Pikachu's capstone miniseries. It's going to be a lot of fun catching up. But before we jump in, I do have a special announcement for anyone who wants to get involved in one of my projects outside of YouTube, as I've just finished the first class in a series of online classes titled Power Plays for a Better Life, in which I'll be covering the techniques that I have used to significantly increase my mental health, physical health, wealth, and to build a creative career that I can run on my own clock from anywhere in the world. And you can enjoy the first class for free with a 1-month free trial from the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is known for classes in photography, film and video editing, and illustration, but it's also become a training ground for the next generation of entrepreneurial creatives who want to reinvent their goals, their careers, and themselves. Speaking personally, while it's hard to believe, it's actually been just about 6 years since I last worked a 9-to-5 job. As traditional jobs aren't everyone's cup of tea, entrepreneurship is full of big opportunities, and I always wanted to break loose and build my own lifestyle. So I did. And even now, I often find myself turning to Skillshare to hone my business, branding, and creative skills, and I will be doing the same in 2023 with a focus on expanding my online presence. Of course, everyone has a different goal in mind when joining Skillshare, but if you're looking to take greater control over your creative path and your career, then I personally think that being able to create quality videos that provide value to people is one of the most useful skills you can build today. And an excellent place to get started with videos is DIY video production for content creators, from setting up to editing, by Enrico Luzzi over on Skillshare, as Enrico cleanly lays out the fundamentals for anyone who wants to start creating quality videos no matter what the budget. He gets you churning out content right away with a solid class project, and I've put quite a few of Enrico's tips into action myself. Of course, there are tons of other excellent video making classes, creative entrepreneurship classes, game making classes, anime girl drawing classes, etc. on Skillshare. And if you're interested in cultivating the mentality, the environment, the discipline, and the direction necessary to power the big self-transformation that you've always dreamed of, then you'll have to hit up my Power Plays for a Better Life series, starting with the first class, Build Your Gratitude System, in which we build a system to harness the scientifically backed and surprisingly transformative role gratitude can play in our daily lives. Because strengthening your grip on what is actually important in your life and better controlling your perception of the world are key for the happiness boosting, dream building power plays that we will be putting into action to build your creative business, publish your own manga, get jacked, or work towards whatever goals you establish over the course of the series. And what's great is that you can enjoy not only my class, but unlimited classes from the massive Skillshare library for free right now, as the first 1,000 people to use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So snag the free trial, check out my class or another class that interests you, challenge yourself to truly blast off towards your goals in 2023, and with that said, have fun, and it's on to today's chat. We'll touch on what the heck happened in 2022 in the Pokemon video game universe in just a bit, but first, holy moly, was it ever a monumental year for the anime. Of course, the biggest attraction was the Masters 8 tournament at the climax of Pokemon Journeys, a tournament bringing together the 8 greatest trainers in the world to duke it out for the title of the very best like no one ever was, and a tournament that Ash Ketchum actually won, shocking viewers across the globe. If you grew up with the Pokemon anime and still haven't seen episode 132 of Pokemon Journeys, then you simply must watch that episode at the very least, because it is pretty surreal. And I actually did a deep dive into why exactly that episode hit longtime fans so hard, so be sure to check that video out if you're interested in some additional insights. Anyways, with the airing of episode 136 of Pokemon Journeys on December 16th, 2022, Pokemon Journeys proper drew to a close, as did the final full-length anime series starring Ash Ketchum and Pikachu as the show's heroes. Ash and Yellow Mickey do have one last trick up their sleeves in 2023, but retiring the 25 years running heroes from the main series limelight after such an earth-shattering victory will almost certainly put 2022 down in the books as the most talked about year in the show's history. But setting aside the dramatic end of Pokemon Journeys, 2022 also gifted us with a really nice set of animated side projects. In addition to Amazon's 4-episode Arceus Chronicles special, which brought Cynthia Schwan as well as the Brockrock back into the mix, 2022 treated us to Faraway Blue Sky, a one-off episode showcasing alternate universe Ash's encounter with a mysterious boy in the forest while traveling to meet his dad. The episode was a tearjerker, and not just because fans were baited into thinking that Ash Ketchum's dad would finally appear, only for the build-up to amount to absolutely nothing, but because, well, I don't want to spoil it, so you'll have to watch it yourself to find out. And outside of the Ashosphere, there were 2 particularly tasty side projects available on YouTube that are absolutely worth checking out. The surprisingly touching Bidoof's Big Stand and the 3-episode miniseries titled Pokemon Hisuian Snow, perhaps the most aesthetically beautiful Pokemon anime series ever created. Pokemon's web animation projects have been fantastic over the past few years, so if you haven't watched the likes of Hisuian Snow, Twilight Wings, or Evolutions, now is a great time to tuck in. Of course, 2023 is shaping up to be another very eventful year for Pokemon storytelling, but before we discuss Aim to be a Pokemon Master and the next saga of the main series anime, let's quickly pay our respects to the Pokemon video games of 2022, because they are what have set the stage for everything to come. 2022 started with a bang last January when Pokemon Legends Arceus roared out the gates to tease the possibilities of open-world Pokemon. And while it wasn't the most technically sound game, it was a lot of fun, it brought a host of fresh game mechanics to the table, and it set the stage for what came next. What came next being the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on November 18th, 2022, a day which ushered us into the era of fully open-world Pokemon games, as foreshadowed by Legends Arceus. Perhaps even more so than Arceus, these games got lambasted for their technical shortcomings and pretty hilarious bugs. But I have to say that my time with Pokemon Scarlet was the most fun I've had with a main series Pokemon game in many years. Check out my full review of the game if you want to hear more. As for the sideshows, we saw Ash Ketchum enter the world of Pokemon Masters EX at long last. The long-lost N64 gem Pokemon Puzzle League was finally re-released on Nintendo Switch, and of course, Pokemon Go powered onward. In short, 2022's fun diversions were fun. The open world of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet totally reinvented the main series, and it is super exciting to ponder what is coming up next. But let us kick the 2023 hype machine into gear by first taking a look at what is on the grill for the Pokemon anime. Hearts were crushed and curiosities were piqued back when it was announced that Ash Ketchum and Pikachu would be retiring from their roles as the main characters of the Pokemon anime, with Liko and Roy, 2 brand new protagonists, set to take center stage in a brand new anime series kicking off in April 2023. And while we don't really know much about the new series aside from that it is set in Paldea, that it stars 2 new protagonists, and that a mysterious Black Rayquaza has some kind of a role to play in the story, I can't wait to talk about it in more depth when news breaks. That said, what we can talk about in more depth right now is the 11-episode mini-series titled Pokemon Aim to be a Pokemon Master, aka Ash and Pikachu's triumphant victory lap after 25 years of adventures. Currently, we are 2 episodes deep into the series, and with that said, here's what I think of what we have seen so far. In Aim to be a Pokemon Master Episode 1, Winds of Beginning the Endless Road, Ash sets out on a new adventure after parting ways with Go. And before long, he runs into an injured Latias that Team Rocket tried to capture to no avail thanks to Ash, Pikachu, and friends. As we approached the episode's air date, many wondered if Ash would actually catch Latias as a tribute to the bond he developed with one particularly smoochy Latias way back in 2002's Pokemon Heroes movie. Spoiler alert, he didn't, but it was still a really fun episode, and I especially enjoyed seeing Ash bring out a host of Pokemon who haven't seen the light of battle in ages. Also, we see in episode 2 that Latias is now trailing Ash, so perhaps there is a chance of him catching it by series end after all. In Aim to be a Pokemon Master Episode 2, Ash vs Misty Seaside 1-on-1, Ash reunited with his very first human travel companion, Misty. And this was totally excellent for a number of reasons. One, because we have finally come full circle from Ash meeting Misty in episode 2 of his first series as Pokemon's hero, to Ash reuniting with Misty in episode 2 of his last series as Pokemon's hero. 2, because Misty is quite simply a spicy character who injects a lot of hilarious good times into the show. And 3, because in this episode, Misty actually defeated Ash in battle. Yes, Misty beat the world champion in a 1v1, which is a testament to her own abilities as a trainer, even if Ash wasn't exactly leaning on an A-lister. And it also showed us that even if Ash is now at the summit of competitive play, he has to stay sharp to stay on top. So while nothing too exhilarating or revelationary happened in this episode, it was still a lot of fun as the comedic chemistry of Ash and Misty is still unparalleled by any other character dynamics in the anime, if you ask me. Not to mention that emaciated Team Rocket made a fairly strong appearance, and it was also nice to see Ash return to his sassier ways after several years dwelling in inspiring but somewhat generic anime protagonist town. Well, those are all of the Aim to be a Pokemon Master episodes that have aired thus far, but we do have 3 more titles for episodes coming right up at the time of filming, so let's quickly talk about them. First, we have Brock and Silent and the Forest Witch, in which a heartbroken Brock will return only to be chadnapped by a Hatterene, and the less sleazy but just as cheesy Silent will come in to help Ash and Misty save Brock from the internet. Second, we have Beartic's Sigh, in which we can assume that a Beartic will appear and that a Beartic will sigh. That is literally all we know at this point, but I do wonder if it suggests the return of Ice Hater Iris and her dragons, so it'll be interesting to find out. Third, we have Burn the Squirtle Fire Brigade, in which we can expect that Ash will reunite with the Squirtle Squad and thus his Squirtle after many years apart, as Ash's Squirtle has only appeared in a few brief flashbacks and cameos since last competing with Ash way back in the Kanto Battle Frontier. And that is it for our current view into the future of the Aim to be a Pokemon Master miniseries, but I look forward to seeing what will carry us through to the end of March, to the end of Ash and Pikachu, and to the beginning of a whole new anime era. As for the Pokemon video games in 2023, we have essentially been met with a wall of question marks at this point. But assuming that we are operating on a timeline similar to that of the Pokemon Sword and Shield content stream, in all likelihood we will soon get word on DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. What the DLC could contain is a mystery, but the unimagined Pokemon pages in the Scarlet and Violet books at the Academy in Messagosa in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet could hint at creatures that may appear in the DLC. And the mysterious creature on the Disc Pokemon pages of the same books may very well be a new legendary Pokemon who takes center stage in an extended DLC story. Only time will tell, but DLC aside, I personally have my hopes set on a second Legends game for late 2023 or sometime in 2024, as I really did love the setting, the lore, and the vibes of Pokemon Legends Arceus. You know you want Pokemon Legends Celebi, and so do I, but what else do you expect to see from the Pokemon video games this year? Well, 2022 broke new ground for the Pokemon video games. 2023 is about to break new ground for the Pokemon anime. The Pokemon TCG is in a great place. The Pokemon World Championships have finally returned and will return again in Yokohama later this year. And all I can say is that it's been quite the ride, and I can't wait to see what's next. But how about you? What were your Pokemon highlights of 2022, and what is stoking your fires for 2023? 2023. I'm curious what you think, and just as a reminder for anyone who is interested in 1. Setting up for a big self-transformation, 2. Supporting the channel, or 3. Simply hearing me talk about something other than Pokemon for a bit. Please do tune into my first Skillshare class by signing up for a free 1-month trial of Skillshare from the link below, as I'd love to see how the system in the first class impacts your mindset. I'd honestly very much appreciate the support over there, and it would just be fun to connect with you in a new way. And with that said, 2023 got off to somewhat of a strange start, but the channel is finally back in action, and I'm happy to be here, so have yourself a great day, and we will chat again soon.